Hey folks, some great news broke just yesterday. On Record Store Day, April 20th, 2024, Elton John will release a deluxe double-colored vinyl edition of his classic 1974 album Caribou. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the album, Caribou was the follow-up to Elton's 1973 masterpiece Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. It was his first studio album recorded in the United States. In fact, the album was named after the Caribou Ranch Studios in Colorado, where Elton and the band recorded it. And it contained the hits The Bitch Is Back and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Caribou was originally released in June 1974, so this year is the album's 50th anniversary. And this new deluxe vinyl set will include bonus studio material, some of it previously released, but some of it previously unreleased. And I'll tell you a bit more about that bonus material shortly. But first, let's take a look at, what we know so far about the deluxe release. According to the Record Store Day website, only 3,000 copies of the Record Store Day Deluxe Caribou will be pressed, which is a drop from last year's Record Store Day Deluxe vinyl Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, worldwide copies of which totaled 4,000. In previous years, Elton's Record Store Day releases shipped upwards of 7,000 copies per release. So with only 3,000 of the deluxe Caribous, that's a bit of a change, and I must say it makes me a bit nervous. But the Record Store Day website lists this Caribou Deluxe as a Record Store Day first release rather than an exclusive, which means that Universal has the option down the line to give the deluxe edition a wider, more general release. And let's hope that they do. So what will this deluxe vinyl Caribou contain? Well, it's a 2 LP set, and the first LP will contain, of course, the original album. I can't find any confirmation anywhere online, but I suspect that the original album will have been remastered. The second LP will contain the bonus material that I mentioned earlier, all of which are studio outtakes, alternates, and demos, including Cold Highway and Sick City, 2 album outtakes used back in 1974 as B-sides to Caribou's 2 hit singles. And both are great songs. I like both those songs actually better than some of the songs that made the final album. We also get a new mix of The Bitch Is Back, called the New Radio Mix, I think it's called. New Radio Mix 2024, which should be interesting because we seldom get modern remixes of Elton's classic year songs. Apparently we'll also get a previously unreleased extended version of Stinker. Now, remember how I said just back there that I liked some of the B-sides better than the songs that actually made the Caribou album? Well, Stinker's a good example of an album track that I'm not that fond of. I'm not sure if this extended version is going to be just a longer version of the same recording that made the album back in 1974, or if it'll be a completely different take altogether. I guess we'll see when we get our copies in April. We'll also get a previously unreleased Elton recording of a song called Snookeroo, which was a John and Toppin song that dates from this period, which Ringo Starr recorded for his 1974 album Goodnight Vienna. I know that Elton recorded a piano demo of the song around 1974. It's turned up before on bootlegs, so that's probably the recording that we'll get on this deluxe Caribou. But of all the previously unreleased tracks listed on the deluxe Caribou, the one that will unquestionably receive the most attention from longtime fans and collectors will be Ducktail Jiver, a John Toppin song recorded during the Caribou sessions in 1974 but never finished. It's not Elton and Bernie's most shining moment as a songwriting team, but it's not that bad a song. It's actually quite catchy. Now, although a version of Ducktail Jiver has never been released before, the track received a little bit of attention about 20 years ago when Greg Penny was preparing a 5.1 surround SACD version of Caribou that was never released, by the way, and his plan at one point was to have Davy Johnston come and overdub some new guitar parts onto the unfinished Ducktail Jiver in an effort to finish it. Now, whether that ever came to pass, I don't know. Like I said, that 5.1 SACD version was never released in the end, but I'll be eager to hear this April whether the mix we get on this Record Store Day Deluxe Caribou will have any Davy stuff on it from the early 2000s. It probably won't, but we'll see. Maybe it will. Caribou's never been my favorite Elton John album. Currently, it sits at number 25 out of 41 spots on my ranked list of Elton John albums. That said, it's home to some of my most favorite songs from this period of Elton's career, songs like Pinky and Ticking and even I've Seen the Saucers. And although I don't own as many different copies of Caribou as I do of other Elton albums from this period, I do own 6 different copies on LP from over the years and around the world, and 5 copies on CD. So maybe I like Caribou more than I'm willing to admit. Either way, I'm really excited about this release. I can't wait to hear the previously unreleased material, that's for sure. Looks like the color of the colored vinyl will be blue, or sky blue as it's been called, because it matches the color of the sky on the original album cover. The deluxe issue sleeve will be a gatefold, which is an improvement, in my opinion, on the original issue, which was, as you can see, a single pouch sleeve with a custom inner. And this is how it looked. Then you got the lyrics on the other side. Now, as luck would have it, although I seldom work weekends, this April 20th I'm deeply involved in a major event at work, and I have to spend my day there rather than be at my local record store. For Record Store Day, I can only hope that I'll get a copy of the Deluxe Caribou, maybe the next day on the Sunday before I have to crawl to Record Store Day scalpers online. Let's hope I don't have to do that. And when I do get a copy, and I will, of course, I'll review it here. So please consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss it. And thanks again for watching. The original UK vinyl sleeves had a laminate on the front and back that the North American sleeves didn't have, which I like. It's a nice kind of sheen, and I think the photograph of Elton on the inside, you'll notice that these glasses appear to have a kind of pink tint to them, and that's because one of the album's working titles was Old Pink Eyes Is Back, which was a sort of a nudge and a wink to Frank Sinatra's Old Blue Eyes Is Back. But at the very last minute they changed it to Caribou. Now, I keep inside of my copy something that did not come with any pre-recorded version of Caribou. It actually came with the the official music book version of Caribou, which was like piano, vocal, and guitar, you know, one of those books. It came with a poster, and I'll show you the first side of the poster. I got this poster I don't have the music book for Caribou, but I do have, I bought a copy of another Elton John album, and this poster came sort of stuck in that, and I thought, well, I might as well just keep it in my original Caribou, even though didn't come with any record release. This is the poster that came with the piano, guitar, and vocal book, which is pretty nice. It's a sort of a nice black and white version of the photograph I just showed you in the original custom inner. But it's the picture on the other side that makes me kind of laugh. It's the poster of Elton and Bernie. It's taken during the album cover sessions, which I think were taken at the Caribou Ranch when they were recording the album. Sorry, but the 70s were not a high point for fashions. We gotta admit, Bernie looks like one of the Bay City Rollers or something. Anyway, at some point I'm gonna go through all my different copies of Caribou and talk about how they differ from one another. In the meantime, take care of yourself and each other.